Hey everybody, it's your travel host Jamie. Or should I say, it is your fellow human being, Jamie, because being a travel host these days is kind of difficult. You know, with the whole pandemic thing. But if you're like me after 6+ months of isolation, your traveler's itch may need a little bit of scratching. Only now we also need welcoming, safe places to do so. That's why, after a lot of research, I was thrilled to discover Whidbey Island. Roughly 30 miles from Seattle, Whidbey is in Phase 3 of Washington's Safe Start Plan, which allows for non-essential travel, aka for someone like me to take a trip over. So grab your keys, wallet, phone, and mask, and let's hit the road. Welcome to Weekends in Washington, the travel show where I visit the most enchanting towns in the Evergreen State, and with only the weekends to do so. Follow along as I bring you what's new, who's who, and where to stop along the way. The weekend starts now. With my purse full of hand sanitizer, I started my journey midday Friday in order to get an early start on vacation. If you're coming from north of Whidbey Island like I did, you have the amazing opportunity of crossing Deception Pass Bridge, the 18-story tall strait that gets you onto the island. There's nearby parking for pedestrians who want to walk along the bridge. Just make sure you're comfortable with heights. Deception Pass State Park has 35 miles of trails, so the location is a great opportunity to stretch your legs. Seeing new sights from new heights got me so excited to keep exploring. About 20 minutes down the road was downtown Oak Harbor, whose buildings were covered by beautiful works of art. Within minutes, I discovered the Allgaier Project.
So the Allgaier Project is Washington's largest mural gallery. All of the theme of the art is Whidbey Island's cultures, history, industries, and ecology. And so you see that reflected in all of the art here. So 2 years ago, when I inherited this building, I had the idea of it was something fresh that would bring people to downtown Oak Harbor. And this mural project and outdoor event space is what came out of it. People should come on down and check it out. You know, in addition to getting a killer selfie, there's all of these great things to check out in downtown Oak Harbor.
Here's my non-mask selfie. Now that I had my fill of local art, I was ready for my fill of local dinner. Thankfully, the Captain Whidbey Inn, where I was staying that night, also housed a bar and restaurant. The restaurant was at 50% capacity due to the pandemic, and I was glad for that because that means only half the amount of regular people could watch me inhale an entire sea of mussels. Penn Cove mussels are world famous, and the Captain Whidbey Inn sits on Penn Cove, so I had some of the freshest, most delicious mussels of my life. To end the night, I cozied up in one of the inn's low-lit cabins, with the crackling fire easily lulling me to sleep. The next morning, I explored the 100-year-old inn and its 6-acre waterfront property, including its private lagoon and dock. Being next to the water put me in the mood for even more outdoor activities. But first, I needed to stock up on snacks. Just a few minutes away, right off the highway, was Three Sisters Groceries and Gifts, which was chock full of local meats, baked goods, soaps, jams, and more. I bought their infamous beef pepperoni sticks for my hike, but quickly ended up running back into the store to purchase a locally made rhubarb pie, too. You take a look at one of those things and not buy one. I dare you. 15 minutes later, I arrived at Fort Casey State Park, a 467-acre marine camping park located in Coupeville. It's home to a 130-year-old military fort meant to defend Puget Sound from potential attacking ships. Interesting fact, it never actually saw battle, but still, the cannons are pretty cool looking. I took the morning exploring its hiking trails and saltwater shoreline, and to be able to look out over the water for a literal breath of fresh air was truly invigorating. Once I got my nature in, I was ready to connect with some real live humans again. I headed into downtown Coupeville to take a socially distant stroll among locals and like-minded tourists. That's where I found Marbly, a place on my Whidbey weekend bucket list. Ed, the owner, walked me through the water marbling magic.
Jamie, welcome to Marbly. We're a marbling art studio, the only one so far as I know in the Pacific Northwest. What we're essentially doing is making puddles of paint float on this stuff. We're gonna make some designs on it. Then you're gonna take those designs with you and some silk. You know, that's perfect drop application there. You've done this before.
I have not done this before. There's no way I've...
You're a marbling ringer. There you go.
Look at my scarf! Holy beautiful colors, look at that amazing scarf. Made in less than 30 minutes, y'all. I totally fell in love with Coupeville. I delayed my exit just a tad longer to eat some fresh fish and chips at Toby's before finally making my way down to Langley, which is about 30 minutes southeast. There's no better way of capping off a perfect day of hiking, shopping, and conversation than with a drink. And soon I found myself at the comforts of Whidbey, a winery, B&B, and 22-acre farm overlooking the Puget Sound. Owner Rita Comfort told me all about it over a tasty wine tasting.
We make all of our own wine from our grapes that we grow here, and then we bring in red grapes from Eastern Washington and do that as well.
I see it says New Estate Sparkling up there. Is this one of those?
These are all released during COVID, so they haven't had an official release party yet, but we'll do that sometime later.
Ooh, this is good. While I wish I could have rolled myself right from the wine tasting table into Rita's B&B, unsurprisingly, she was all booked up. So I was so grateful to nab a spot at the Whidbey Island Harbor Inn, which had contactless check-in. That's right, you just show up at the time of your reservation and the room's ready to go with the door unlocked and the key on the table. Man, Whidbey Island had this pandemic planning thing down. Due to their comfy beds, the next day I woke up super relaxed. Until I realized it was my last day of vacation, I needed to do as much at Whidbey Island as physically possible. I started the morning off early by booking a reservation with Whidbey Island Kayaking. As the staff sanitized my boat and life jacket, I was given a quick kayaking instructional before heading into the water.
Oh, and there's a nice great blue heron.
I learned so much from the Whidbey Island kayaking tour guides. For example, did you know that starfish aren't actually starfish because they're invertebrates? Yeah, they're called sea stars, baby. Impress your kayak guide with that lingo the next time you get on the water. After such an enjoyable kayaking tour, I wanted to learn even more about the wildlife in Whidbey's waters. I headed down the street into downtown Langley, stopping into the Langley Whale Center.
So we have this whale center in Langley, and it's basically our educational component at the Orca Network. Our ambition is to educate the public through usually hands-on, but during COVID, not just as hands-on.
I didn't see a whale, so I didn't get to ring the whale bell. Does that actually get rung?
Oh yeah, all the time. It definitely does. We'll be at the center and hear the whale bell go off, and we actually will close the center. We have a little sign we put up. We're off to watch whales. We'll be back. We try to get the whole community involved.
Inspired and ready for my first Whidbey whale sighting, I headed to the coastline to check out the scene. While I unfortunately couldn't ring the whale bell that day, I soon spotted another animal that very quickly diverted my attention. A bunny. Many bunnies, in fact. You guys, the entire town of Langley is like hopping with bunnies. If there was a bunny bell, I'd be all over it. In addition to the cute little cottontails, the town of Langley itself was like something out of a movie. They have all sorts of walkways and spacious paths for strolling and shopping. I thought it was really cool to see all the ways the town was supporting its local businesses during this time, like closing down street parking in order to make more room for outdoor dining. Naturally, after a bit of salt, I was in the mood for something sweet, and my walking adventures soon discovered the most endearingly sunflower-splashed building, Sweet Mona's Chocolates. I honestly could not tell you what was sweeter, Mona's chocolates or Mona herself.
90% of what's in the store, we've made it here. Well, we have a full line of chocolates, so we do toffee, we do truffles, we do fudge, we do brittle. We have a full line of caramels, everything from salted caramels for you, or chai caramels for you, or licorice caramels maybe.
And the caramels are your bread and butter, but they're your caramels.
They're my favorites.
With a box of Mona's infamous caramels in tow, I knew I now could muster up the energy to head back home. I was super early for the ferry in Clinton, however, so instead of just like waiting in a line of parked cars, I quickly turned off the highway and into a parking lot right across the street that led to the Madrona Supply Company. They call themselves the Welcome to Whidbey store, and I was so glad to catch them as my wave bye to Whidbey store because it makes and sells local goods from all around the island. Definitely stop in before or after your Whidbey trip to make it a full experience. The trip ended with a ferry ride from Clinton to Mukilteo before I drove home. While we may not all be hyper vigilant about traveling everywhere every weekend, I can still easily say that Whidbey Island was extremely accommodating, super safe, and everybody from the towns to the chambers to the businesses themselves made me feel very welcome and very comfortable. That is not easy to do right now, and Whidbey Island does it right. So if you're looking for the perfect place to travel during a rather imperfect time, heading to the island would be a great idea. I'm Jamie, and this might be the best weekend you've ever had. Wear a mask, wash your hands, travel safe. But first, I needed to stock up on snacks. Did I just say stock up on snacks? Yikes! Stock up on snacks. But first, I needed to stock up on smacks. I need the breakfast cereal. Everybody come get your smacks. Stock up on smacks. That was like a kiss, like a smack, like whatever.